Hello friends and welcome back to the farm. Today we are doing the first garden tour of the season. It's early July, it's early in the morning, the temperatures have dropped, we've had a very hot week and then a good shower for a few days, and now it's around 20 degrees, 25 at the highest, and it feels really nice. The garden has exploded with growth and I thought I'd show you around. So that's an overview of the garden. Hi, my name is Leah if you're new here. I garden in zone 7B, central France. I garden is a very high rain and then very dry and hot in the summer, so high rain in the spring, very hot and dry in the summer. So we got in a pretty fairly nice growing zone. We have a long growing season. My average last frost is mid-April and my average first frost is end of October, sometimes early November. So we have a long growing season, and here everything have kind of boomed in the last couple of weeks. It was a little slow to get started because we've had a fairly cool spring this year. We've had rarely any highs above 20 degrees Celsius, so 75 Fahrenheit, something like that. And so everything really needed some warmth to get started, which we've had last week, and I will show you around how everything is going. So we are starting here at the left of the gate, and the cherry tomatoes are starting to put on some growth. Look at that. So I have plenty of different varieties. This one is the new one that I've never grown before. It's an Italian heirloom. I think it's called Del Vesuvio, something like that. And then I have some true classics, pink bumblebee, black cherry, things like that. Then the peppers have finally started to look like healthy plants. They were all yellow and dying. We have a few of those leaves left. You can see the difference. And we have some blooms setting, and they actually have fruit, which is fun because I've never grown pepper before. My toxic trait is to take the dead blooms off. I love doing that. Then we have the eggplants next to it. So this whole row is eggplant and this whole row is sweet peppers. And so towards the end of the row we have two courgette plants, one doing better than the other. And here, which I'm not showing much of, but there's an entire row of June bearing strawberries. Oh, and we have some blanket flower here that is looking a little rough, but blooming again. Almost blooming again. And then a few straggler sunflowers that I've sown early on in the season. I didn't know it worked, and so yeah, we have a few. You will see all throughout the garden I have some dahlias, I have a few here, I have some lavender, like here, some nasturtium, more dahlias, more roses, tons of things. So here we have loads of courgettes and they're setting fruit. So those ones are, those ones are ronde-nice, which I've already presented. Oh, that's a morning glory. No one wants that. So they're setting fruit. We're enjoying them. We've been having courgette mostly every couple of days now. And then we have the beautiful lavender that is getting pollinated. I don't know if you can see that little guy over there. No, maybe. And so this smells divine. If you want to dry lavender, you actually want to cut it when it's purple, but it hasn't opened yet, because this will fall off the lavender and you won't have as much scent. So if you want to use lavender in medicinal or culinary purposes, or put in a linen bag to have your closet smell good, or to have a room smell nice, you can put them in a cloth bag, and you really want to harvest them that stage. Then we have some onions, a whole row of onions with some beetroots in the middle, which the beetroots are not doing really well. Oh, sorry sir. The beetroots are not doing really well, but the onions are, and they're starting to form nice bulbs. There's some hole in here. You can see here there's 3 missing, and other ones missing because we've been eating those, because we ran out of onions from last year, a couple months ago, and we had to buy a few. And I'm really excited with the onions because I think I've grown enough for an entire year, like the garlic. We'll see how long I can keep them fresh, and then if, towards the end of January or February, if they don't store anymore, ooh, I had the sun in my eye. If they don't store anymore, we'll slice them up and put them in the freezer, and we'll use them until July the next year. So we'll see, but I'm pretty confident we have enough onions for an entire year. And then next to that we have more cherry tomatoes, and you will see tomatoes I do several different kind of tutoring, or trellising I should say. I have floor weave, windbreak. I don't remember how it's called in English. I think it's floor weave, something like that. So I have this. I'm trying it this year and it works pretty well, and I have some single ones on 1 stick, and I have some on 2 sticks that I will show you afterwards. Beautiful courgette. So this is a more traditional zucchini, and there are plenty coming. And same thing we are eating a lot of. We had my family over for a couple of days, which was lovely, and we've had zucchini all trip long without any problem. The sunflowers are about to bloom. I think those ones are Autumn Beauty, which is, early July is maybe not the best sunflowers to have. It's so windy today, but it's a sunflower and I gladly take it. And then there's an entire row of green beans. They're starting to form. Look at that. And those are a type of French fillet. And there's a few loner corn plants in the middle. And then we have the ensa. I didn't know if that was a melon or a cucumber. And where is it? I've seen one. Oh yeah. Those are cucumbers, no doubt. So that should be a silver slicer, and those over there should be silver slices as well. And then some wildflower, loads of cosmos, more sunflowers. Then green beans that are ready to be harvested. So those plants were the trial sowing, so there's a few ready, and at the beginning you will have a few beans here and there and you won't know what to do with it, especially if you have a big family. The sun is very annoying today, especially if you have a big family, and then you will have so many beans that you don't know what to do with it again, but because you have too many. And the method I like to preserve bean is just blanching them a minute or so in salted water, putting them in an ice cold bath, and then freezing them in a vacuum sealed bag. In that smaller row we have a repetition of onions and carrots in the back, and then some beautiful soya beans and some corn plants. And then look at that guy. I don't even know if the camera is going to be able to pick up the actual depth of the color. It's so pretty. And we have 2 plants of that. And then in here, same thing. Those we planted together. I was going to say same thing. Carrots and onions, all of there, and some dead shallots that I have to harvest. And then we planted those seeds together just a week ago, not even. And look how grown they are. And then a little struggling pumpkin. Don't worry if your rose does this, it's usually the rain that causes a little bit of discoloration, and we've had heavy pouring, so that explains this. A beautiful onion flower, some calendula and some borage. If you don't know, borage tastes a little bit like seafood, and I'm curious to see if I can do some infusion or something like that to try to mimic the taste of the sea. And oh, please look at the combination. And those seeds, those calendula seeds, I have them, or have been saving them since my first year gardening in the community garden in Paris in 2019. So I've been sowing those seeds and saving those seeds for 5 years now. I mean, it's never the same seed, but always coming from the same original one. So in this middle row we have a butternut that is finally doing something right there, and then some basil plant, and in the middle a beautiful row of blueberries, which we have some behind this disgusting netting, but if I'm not having a netting on, the crows will be eating those. And we have a tiny courgette, which is just doing male flowers for now, some lettuce going to seed, and on the other side we have a repeat of what's in here, which is soybeans. And I adore soybeans. They grow so quick, so fast, and especially if you're vegetarian or vegan, or if you live, or you're all crooked, or if you live in a very humid place, soybeans love this. They love heat, they can handle dry heat, humidity. They're just a gorgeous plant. They're so easy to grow. You don't do much with them, and they have a few pests, mainly beetles, that can be a little damaging to them, but apart from that, they're pretty easy going and easy to grow. And they're a great source of protein if you don't eat meat or fish, and they're also a great source of fiber and different minerals and vitamins. So they're a great plant overall, and the added bonus is that they're herbaceous, so they are enriching and nourishing your soil at the same time as they're growing. And then behind the sunflower row we have a little transition, a few shallots that are waiting to be harvested. I've already harvested the majority of this row. Some beets that I don't really know what they're doing, a few salads going to seeds, and we have the transition, which are more cucumbers. I could eat them every day. We have some here as well. Some summer squash, I think that's one there, which I don't know if it's a patty pan or a courgette. Some of my kale plants, they're struggling a little bit, we're still here. And then some green beans, and those are the second succession. The one I showed you before are the stirred. And then more onions, which are huge. Look at that. Look at that. It's a massive boy. Massive. And do I have some that are ready so that I can show you what they look like? Oh, this one is doing it. So you see, when onion is starting to be ready, and they won't grow anymore, the bulb won't grow anymore, they just break themselves in half, or not really break themselves in half, but the stems breaks on its own. I have another one doing it here, and it means that the bulb will just start to harden the shell. Ooh. Sorry ma'am. Which only means that the bulb will harden itself, the papery skin will grow thicker, and that's it. The bulb won't grow anymore. And if you're getting loads of showers, loads of rain, you kind of want to harvest those and get them cured. And onions, just like garlic, and I've explained this in my garlic harvesting video, just like garlic, they need to be laid single layer in a dry, cool, not in direct light kind of environment for a week or two until you don't see any more green in the leaves, and then you can snip the leaves, snip the roots, and store them in a very, very cool environment. And this is giving me so much joy. Oh, I adore bachelor's button. They're so pretty. It's rare to have like an actual vibrant blue flower. Those are so pretty. So I'm letting them go to seed like you see here. And I'm gonna get them pretty much everywhere. I really want them to reseed and just be everywhere. Then more beans, more carrots, more beans, more carrots, more onions, and grow what you eat basically. And we eat a lot of beans, carrots and onion, and those are also things that work well in my climate. The cabbages are starting to form heads, but they're a little damaged, and I think the fluctuation in temperatures are not the best for them. The broccoli seem to be handling it a little better, and I think some things are forming under there. I'm not too sure. But the courgette though is doing well. So that back row is still onions, as I said, carrots, beets. I have a few cucumber plants, as you can see over there, and also a few right here and right there, a few blueberries, because I'm transitioning this into a perennial patch. Next year I'm gonna get that back row fully planted in blueberries, June bearing strawberries, and what did I wanted to add? Some perennial flowers, maybe a rose or two, or maybe more lavender. We'll see, but I'm going to transition this one into a perennial bed. And same thing then with the bachelor button. I'm letting all of my herbs go to seed. The coriander, the dill. And I think we're done with that half of the garden, which house a lot of our annual vegetables, and we're gonna go the other half of the other half of the first side of the garden, which house some perennial veg and some annual veg. So that's the strawberry patch, and those are ever-bearing strawberries, which have been loving the cool down in the weather and loving the rain. We're still harvesting a good deal of them. Look at that. So we're still harvesting a good deal of them. They're not the tastiest right now, because here again, the fluctuation in temperatures, we were over 30 degrees, now we are around 20, 22 degrees. So, you know, it's not the best to create tasty and gorgeous fruit. Not every plant produces delicious fruits when they're stressed. So those I mainly will be harvesting and using in cooking or doing some syrups, jam, stuff like that. And even if this yarrow is a weed to me, they do house beautiful wildlife and they make for a great filler in a bouquet. The cottage garden is doing well. My sage, my salvia more than the sage, is exploding. Sorry ladies. Look at that, how big that is. Oh. I filmed a short just a few weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago, and this was tiny, and now look at it. I wonder back here. I'm due for picking very soon. So the tomatoes are doing fairly well given the condition. So extreme humidity, loads of rain, but they're doing well. I don't see that many plants that have the earliest signs of blight. They're mostly green and vibrant, which is very nice. Look at that. And if you turn the leaves, still green and vibrant. So I'm feeling very lucky. Look at those. I won't be able to pronounce this, but I'll put it on the screen. And so they ripen to just that tiny bottom part being red and the rest stays purple, which is beautiful. And we have loads of green fruits everywhere. And now it's just a waiting game. And if you've ever grown tomatoes, you know that it feels as long to see them ripen than to actually sow and transplant and prune and take care of them. Even though this is going just to be a few weeks, waiting for those fruits to turn is, you know, a trial of your own patience. And I've let this multiflora cherry tomato, it's not a spoon tomato, but this one, you know, produces tiny fruits. Not as tiny as a spoon tomato, but not that big. And I'm letting it be. I'm not tutoring it like the other ones, which are in between 2 bamboo sticks. And I use bamboo because we have tons. I wish I didn't, but we do, so I use it. But you could use anything, you know, tomato cages, cattle panel, ranch panel. You can use... Oh, those are gorgeous. I think those are ant rubies. I'm not sure, but I think that's what they are. They're getting there. The corn is doing fantastic. I'm not seeing any beans, but I'm seeing the squash that we've planted together for the Three Sisters garden. Oh, no! Oh, hello little guy. Okay, we're seeing the beans now. That's fun. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, those must have grown during the night. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, I'm excited now. So the corn patch is doing beautifully and the Three Sisters garden as well. We've harvested some potatoes over the weekend with my family. That was so fun. So, Maminette, Marie, si vous passez par là, merci beaucoup d'avoir travaillé avec moi. So we've harvested all of those volunteer potatoes. I didn't really care for them to be the biggest because I didn't really plant them. They were just here and coming back from last year. And now I'm going to sow loads of shelling beans, the Bordeaux variety. I've already sown a few. And I'm going to sow more probably tomorrow and I might film it, we might do it together. And then for the 2 potato row, there's not much to say, not much to see. So we are going to go back there to see the paste and yeah, that's just paste tomatoes. And yes, my sheets are drying in the garden. So my favorite variety is San Marzano. I think it's very tasty. Those have little to no seeds inside. It's very fleshy, little liquid. That's why they're called paste tomatoes, because they're used to produce sauces and such. And this one is a French heirloom, which I forgot the name of. I think it's Morisé. I'm gonna check. And it's also supposed to be a paste. And those ones are almost going to ripen. And I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you see here, this one is reflecting light. It's kind of glowing, or not glowing, but you know, reflecting light. Whereas those ones are more opaque. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this means that they're about to turn. And you can see the tiny ones, or the more, the younger ones, are just not reflecting the light as much as the big first fruits. So the potatoes are doing fine. I think I kind of got the best of the blight, or maybe the warmth did. And the hot peppers, even though they're looking terrible, they have tons of fruits on them. Look at that big guy over there. So I'm excited. My partner is the one being the most excited about that. I have no idea what those are, because those are hot peppers that I bought at Aldi, so I don't really know the name. But I'm hoping they're hot, and I'm hoping we'll get a lot of fruit out of those 4 plants. In those empty holes are supposed to be ginger, which are not doing much. And the okra over there is pitiful. Look at that. It's tiny compared to my fingers, and it's not doing well. So that's that. The dahlia row is very weedy, but the plants are doing fantastic. They're starting to boom and looking very pretty, so that's exciting. And that's another potato, small potato bed. And over there we have a few volunteer squash that grew from the compost. And we did mulch with my grandma around the vines, the grapevines. And then this is beautiful. You'll see in the next video, I planted a honeyberry in here. And everything is doing wonderful in here. And the echinacea are still not open, but almost. And this with that dahlia in a bouquet, it's going to be gorgeous. So we're gonna go see the green beans. Which here again are starting to set fruit. Don't know if I can find tiny ones. Oh yeah, right there. You see? And same thing, in 2 weeks we'll be overrun and overwhelmed with beans, which I'm excited about because last year we've had none. That's a pickling cucumber that is starting to produce. And then the Asian noodle beans have done a little bit. I thought they all kind of died. They're not looking the best. They're very yellow compared to those, you see. But they're doing okay. And the pumpkins here are doing really well as well. And some nasturtium, and some broccoli going to seed, some squash, and tiny watermelons, which I don't know if those will fruit anything. Now we just have this perennial patch to go and look at. Look at that dinner plate. And look at that guy. So those are the dahlias that I left in the ground last year as a trial to see if they would. Don't mind this artichoke. It has bloomed and, it has fruited, and we've harvested everything ate them, they were delicious, and now it's dying back, but that's normal. I will be cutting this back to the ground and let it push back new leaves either in the fall or in the spring, depending on how that guy is feeling, basically. So back to the dahlias. Those were left in the ground and they are just gorgeous, doing so well, and that's why I'm very confident that all the dahlias I planted will perennialize, which just means that the plant comes back. I have a few strawberry crowns here, and then huge bed of potatoes, which are very healthy. Those ones don't have any signs of blight or any other fungal disease. They are green and vibrant, and we just mulched over them with my sister and my grandma again. And then all of the soft fruits or berries are doing fine. We have the first blackberries of the season. Look at that. So those ones are thornless blackberries, not the wild ones. And we have a few, those are very young plants, so I'm not expecting much from them. And then the other plants are doing fine as well. Loads of blooms on this one, which I'm very excited as well about. Loads of bloom on this one, and the raspberries are starting to bloom as well, or form flowers I should say. I have a few varieties down the line that are blooming, and so we should see our first raspberries in a few weeks. And so that's gonna be it for today's video, friends. I hope you enjoyed walking around the garden with me. I will show you what the garden looks like in 2 weeks. Everything is about to explode, and as I said, we've already been enjoying green, summer squash, new potatoes, onions, shallot, garlic, and we're about to enjoy green beans and more summer veggie, and I can't wait to show you what it looks like. Thank you for hanging out with me. Subscribe so that you don't miss any video, and you will see me in the next one. Bye.